I feel like the 12-step journey, it's a form of CBT. That's not all part. A huge part of it is spirituality, but a huge part of it is the CBT of putting it on the individual. And so the people that were there before me, I guess the slang is, we call them old timers. They used to give me a lot of truth airstrikes. That's what I call them. Like boom, right over the head. With it would cut through because I'm full of self justification and pardon my BS. I'm just full of BS, like my own BS, and they have to cut through that. So they did. They looked me right in the eyes and boom. There's no such thing as triggers. There's only excuses. Boom. Quit playing the victim, kid, because victims might get dry, but they're not going to stay sober. Or the other, when I first came in, right, I look back on things. I believe this is just an example, but I believe I would intellectualize to compensate for feeling socially inadequate. So there's no need for it, right? Like I'm an educated person. I know a lot of big words, whatever. But there's no need to go around using all these words in every situation, right? Unless you're trying to sound smart or be better, that, like, you know what I mean? And they could see that from a mile away, right? So I forget the one guy. It helped me a lot though. He's like, how many big words do you have, kid? And like, who are you going to help by if no one can understand what you're talking about? And just the way about they weren't like abuse. They weren't emotionally abusive, but they were blunt, and that works because that gets through that gets through all my BS, all my self justification. And so I remember a lot of that in recovery, and it helped. And then yeah, I remember the spirituality part. I'm not a super religious guy, but I remember feeling close to God. I had a number of experiences early recovery. I felt like, warmth and comfort, of like a guardian angels moment. Like I was stressed out the one night, I didn't believe in myself. Like, can I really do this? And then it was sort of like comfort from another world came, and no one was there. And I knew no one was there. I wasn't hallucinating. I knew no one was there, but I felt like a pat on the back. Like it's going to be okay from another. And I guess you could say that was like my first step experience or whatever. I was a month in or something like that. But anyway, so that's what recovery was like, is just learning lots of stuff, having to relearn kinds of things about life. I learned, what socially appropriate behavior is, what it is not. And all this stuff has helped me grow as a person. Like I'm just giving you, I can't keep you all day, but just a quick example was, we're in the lounge one time, and the guy was beside me, and so the people come in, and it's sort of an unwritten rule, or it's like you should shake everyone's hand and greet everyone. The one guy said, "Oh no, when a lady comes in, you have to stand up and shake her hand, right?" And I was taught all this kind of stuff, like the social cues and all, and it's been an ongoing journey, one day at a time. But that's what it's been like, is just an endless journey of learning and healing and growing, and discovery, self-discovery, helping others, and that's really the whole thing of the program, right? Because I'm such a selfish, self-centered person, that I need to reverse that, right? So get out of myself, find things I can do to help, service, right? Like what can I do to help someone else? It's not all about me. I'm just one person in the whole world. The world doesn't revolve around me. And so hopefully that answers your question. I had a lot of coffee today.
I had one too prior to having you on, so we're both caffeinated, which is good. No, I like where this is going. When you were talking about how the old timers would just be very blunt with you, I find that a lot of people, especially if they're not willing to surrender to recovery, that scares them off. And they start to look for reasons why the program isn't going to work for them, instead of recognizing that the reason that they're rejecting the program is because the bluntness, the truth, hurts their ego, right? The truth hurts. And when I came into the program, I had an attitude of willingness, open-mindedness, right? And honesty. I knew at that point that my way was not working, and that there was a reason why I was stuck, and that reason probably had something to do with who I was. And so I surrendered. And when people told me certain things that I didn't like to hear, I tried to be open-minded to that and listen and try to understand why it was that it was hurting my feelings when I heard those things. So the bluntness is part of the program, and I think it's something that people would benefit from, right? If they really want to get better. Do you agree?
Yeah, yes, I do. I think it's what works, and their motive is love. It's kind of like, again, this is a weak example, full of weak examples. I hope you like that. Like if we were hanging, well, I don't think we ever met in person yet. Maybe someday. If we were ever hanging out at the coffee shop or so, or we're having breakfast together, and then I have food on my face, would you tell me that I had food on my face as a good friend would, or would you say, oh no, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to, right? Like the loving thing to do would be like, hey Dylan, you got something on your face, because that'll save me from future hurt, being embarrassed when I get up and walk around. And I know that's maybe not the greatest example, but where I'm going with that is they're trying to save your life. It's out of love. It's they're not like, if someone's doing it to have a power trip, then that's really sad, and I would walk around people like that. But like the old timers I experienced that I'm talking about, it was like out of love. There's like, we see you're not going in a good direction here, and we don't want to watch you get hurt, so we're gonna take the time to help. And and the reason for the bluntness is to, like I was saying before, is to cut through all that self-justification and all the stuff I got going on in my head of rationalizing and all that. They have to cut right through it. So I don't know who, I think my friend came up with, I can't take credit for it, and I can't copyright it, but I call them truth airstrikes. I love that, but it's the old timers. Boom, there's your truth airstrike for the day. And it can hurt in the moment, but as time goes on, you'll be grateful that they did it.